While the It movies are absolutely frightening, they're also filled with a number of errors that are hard to ignore. So, what exactly did the filmmakers get wrong? Try to avoid the deadlights as we look for all the big mistakes in the It movies. The first installment of Andy Muschietti's It adaptation includes a number of Stephen King multiverse Easter eggs. One of them is a bright green Lego turtle handled by young Bill Denbrough, played by Jaden Martell, which shatters when it drops on the floor. In King's novel, the turtle Maturin is the creator of the known universe and the spiritual foil of Pennywise the Clown. The turtle helps the novel's central group of protagonists, who call themselves the Losers.
Hanging out with us makes you a loser too.
I can take that.
But in 1989, when It Chapter 1 takes place, not all of those green Lego shades were commercially available. The dark green bricks that make up most of the turtle's body weren't on the market until around 1996, and the lime green bricks used as accents weren't available until the early 2000s. There are a number of errors in both It movies that shatter the illusion we're in Derry, Maine. Instead, we often get a Canadian vibe, which is understandable since the movies were primarily shot in Canada. Still, there are some parts where the production team overlooked crucial details that gave away that the characters were not in New England and were, in fact, a bit further north. For example, the Derry Town Square features a huge war memorial. There are, of course, war memorials all over the United States, but we know this one's Canadian because part of the inscription honors the men who died for king and country in the Great War. Considering that America was founded in a rebellion of the British monarchy and has never had a king, American war memorabilia wouldn't have that particular phrase anywhere. Another clue that we're not where the movie claims to be involves the police cars that appear in the films. While audiences unfamiliar with Maine may not see anything amiss about the flashing red and blue lights of the police cars, those familiar with the region would know that Maine law enforcement vehicles only have blue lights, making the red a dead giveaway that we're in a different place than we think. Then, at the end of It Chapter 2, when all is set right by the adult losers, the camera pans over the town of Derry, which is back to its idyllic Maine setting and free of the threat of child-eating monsters. However, there's still one problem. A sign for the exclusively Canadian real estate company Royal LePage is visible on one of the buildings, which gives away the fact that this isn't Maine at all, or even the United States. The character of Stanley Uris, played by Wyatt Olaf, is the son of the town rabbi, who we meet in It Chapter 1 preparing Stan for his upcoming bar mitzvah. In one scene, after a frustrated Stan finishes reading from the Torah, he shuts the book and walks off. But when he closes the book, we can see that it is upside down. Whoever placed the book in front of Stan on the set either didn't know or forgot that Hebrew is read from right to left, not left to right like English, which means that the letters on the cover should have been to Stan's right, not his left. At least when Stan later returns the book to the shelf in his father's office, he corrects this error and places it on the shelf right side up. When young Beverly, played by Sophia Lillis, runs into the rest of the Losers Club in the pharmacy in It Chapter 1, she's trying to figure out which tampons to buy, while the boys are gathering first aid supplies in order to treat Ben's injuries after his run-in with Henry Bowers.
Holy sh**, what happened to you?
Everyone is incredibly awkward with each other, especially Beverly, since she wants to keep her period a secret from the boys. During this scene, we see a number of Olay skincare products on a shelf near the kids. The only problem is, in 1989, the brand was called Oil of Olay. It didn't get rebranded into Olay until 1999. You can also see Dial and Ivory soap sporting their modern-day packaging in the pharmacy scenes, along with Covidian Curity bandages, which didn't go by that name until 2007. In It Chapter 1, Eddie's mother Sonia, played by Molly Atkinson, is an enthusiastic consumer of the snack sweets brand Mrs. Freshley's Delicious Deals. From oatmeal cream pie cookies to iced honey buns, these treats dominate Eddie's pantry, and when the losers are over at Eddie's house, he tells them to leave those alone.
Take everything but the Delicious Deals, guys. My mom loves them.
The only problem is, Mrs. Freshley's brand wasn't established until 1994, a good 4 years after It Chapter 1 takes place. In addition, the packaging on Sonia's snacks is the same design you can find in stores today. When we meet Beverly Marsh in It Chapter 1, the poor girl is getting bullied from all sides. Her father is abusive, and the girls at school torment her mercilessly, shaming her because she kissed a boy in the school play and teasing her because she's poor. Eventually, Beverly tries to hide from the mean girls in the bathroom, but her plan backfires. When the girls find her, they dump a bunch of wet garbage into her toilet stall. Fortunately, Beverly has her backpack, which she uses to block most of the gunk raining down on her. But just moments later, when she runs into Ben outside, her backpack is totally clean and totally dry. The Losers Club aren't only battling a vicious clown creature, they also have a group of human enemies in the form of sadistic bully Henry Bowers, played by Nicholas Hamilton, and his gang. One day, Bowers and his crew of goons chase homeschooled orphan Mike Hanlon, played by Chosen Jacobs, into the Barrens where the losers hang out, and a rock fight ensues. This is the first time the rest of the losers meet Mike, who makes their lucky number 7. But an unfortunate continuity error occurs when Henry's friend Belch begins bleeding before Beverly's rock actually makes contact with his head. What's more, the rock catches him on the side of his baseball cap, not across the bridge of his nose, where the injury mysteriously appears. Richie Trashmouth Tozier, played by Finn Wolfhard, is a kid who's constantly making snarky quips, and his friends are constantly asking him to shut his pie hole throughout both It movies. Many of Richie's comments come in the form of pointed insults, such as the rock fight between the losers and Henry Bowers' gang, when Richie yells,
Go your dad, you mullet-wearing ass!
But while the term mullet was first coined in 1967's Cool Hand Luke, it didn't actually enter popular usage until after the 1994 Beastie Boys song Mullet Head. Since the first installment of It takes place in 1989, Richie's comment has no context for that time period, even though it does for modern-day viewers. After the Losers Club think they've defeated Pennywise at the end of It Chapter 1, Bill still isn't 100% convinced that the ordeal is over. He asks everyone to swear that if Pennywise is still alive, they'll all return to Derry to help him defeat it.
If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back too.
To seal their vow to one another, Bill uses a broken piece of glass to cut everybody's palms so that they can make a blood oath, promising that they'll all come together again if they need to. While this is a powerful and somber moment, symbolizing the transition of the losers from childhood to adulthood, it is slightly marred by another continuity error. Although the shard of glass Bill uses to cut the losers' hands has blood on it after the first few cuts, the blood miraculously disappears after he cuts Mike's hand and stays strangely clean for the rest of the ritual. Although It Chapter 1 takes place entirely in 1989, Chapter 2 flips between 1989 and 2019 as the Losers Club returns to Derry to end the battle between the town and Pennywise once and for all. One of the flashbacks to 1989 features a key scene at the video game arcade between Richie Tozier and another boy, which suggests Richie might be gay. The scene turns out to be doubly important when, years later, a video game token ends up being the talisman the adult Richie, played by Bill Hader, uses for the ritual of Chud, which aims to destroy Pennywise. Unfortunately, there's a huge gaffe to go along with these important events. In the background of the arcade, we can see the games Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2. However, the Mortal Kombat games were released in 1992 and 1993 respectively, making it impossible for them to have been in an arcade in 1989. In It Chapter 1, Pennywise kidnaps young Beverly and hypnotizes her with deadlights, storing her in a kind of stasis in the sewer, along with all the other dead and missing children of Derry. The rest of the Losers Club go in to rescue her, using the entrance in the haunted house on Neibolt Street. While we never see how the losers get from the sewers to the field where they seal their blood oath in Chapter 1, a flashback in It Chapter 2 shows Beverly pushing her bike through Derry alongside the rest of the losers immediately after the showdown, before any of them go home. However, since she was kidnapped, she shouldn't have had a bike at all. It's possible she could have borrowed one after leaving Neibolt Street, but in that case, one of the other losers should have been missing a bike, instead of each of them having their own. Just because the Losers Club grew up, that doesn't mean their childhood bullies didn't follow them into adulthood. In It Chapter 2, the adult Henry Bowers, played by Teach Grant, escapes from the institution for the criminally insane where he's been living since taking the fall for all of Pennywise's murders back in 1989. On the clown's orders, Henry goes after the surviving losers, stabbing Eddie, played by James Ranson, straight through the cheek. Knowing that they can't halt the mission, Eddie and Beverly, played as an adult by Jessica Chastain, patch his face up, then proceed down into the sewers to finish Pennywise. But the emotional tension is interrupted when Eddie's bandage briefly flips from one side of his face to the other. This can happen when a negative gets reversed, but it should have been an easy thing to catch and fix. For the adult losers to vanquish Pennywise, Mike, played by Isaiah Mustafa, determines that they need to perform the ritual of Chud down in Pennywise's feeding lair. But in order to fully complete the ritual, each loser must bring a token that was significant to them during the summer when they faced the monster as children in 1989. Eddie's token is his asthma inhaler, Richie's is a video game token, Ben's is the page of his yearbook that only Beverly signed, Bev's is the postcard poem that Ben wrote her. and Bill's is the paper boat that he made for his little brother. But somehow, even after the losers get fully immersed in the murky sewer water, the paper tokens belonging to Bev, Ben, and Bill are still completely dry when they toss them into the fire. The paper boat may still have been safe due to the wax coating Bill applied on it for Georgie at the beginning of the first film, but the postcard in the yearbook page should have been sopping wet. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.